Floyd's death made an impact on racial justice movements and policing across the country, even across the world. But it also had a significant impact on the city of Minneapolis, particularly in that neighborhood near the corner of 38th and Chicago, where George Floyd encountered police on the day he died. Joining me now is the Minneapolis City Council Vice President and Ward 8 Councilwoman Andrea Jenkins. Councilwoman Jenkins, thank you for being here. I want to talk a little bit about the community because it's become such a focus of this case. So first of all, how has this case affected your community since Floyd's death on Memorial Day of last year?
Wow. Good afternoon. And yeah, this community has been deeply traumatized. And, we can see that, I think, playing out in the trial. Some of the witnesses are really, I think, exhibiting what the community has been feeling since May 25th. This particular community that surrounds Cup Foods and the area at 38th and Chicago, which is now commonly referred to as George Floyd Square. And I think the whole city has been traumatized and is kind of being re-traumatized again by the trial.
And when you say you think they're being re-traumatized again by the trial, what do you mean by that?
Well, just well, maybe I should only speak for me. I have personally just been, really significantly impacted by watching the video again in its entirety, by hearing the heart-wrenching testimony of some of the witnesses that were out there on the scene. And I do want to just offer my support and condolences to my constituents, and I can only imagine that the family is feeling the same way. And so I offer those same condolences to them as well.
Yeah, it's an emotional trial, that's for sure. But the safety of the neighborhood has also been brought up by the defense several times throughout the trial so far. What's your reaction to that?
So the community has been a challenged community for a long time. I've been literally working at the intersection of 38th and Chicago for over 2 decades, and we had really began to turn a corner in revitalization. Lots of new Black-owned businesses have emerged in that corridor. The community organizations have been really thriving, and we had seen some really significant turnaround. But there has been a long-term gang activity in the neighborhood, as is present in many inner city communities. And so, but that has been intensified. And I think crime and public safety has been on the minds of cities throughout America. We've seen increases in crime, carjackings, muggings, et cetera. Violent crime, shooting has gone up. And this community has suffered some of those same kinds of impacts.
So what do you want people watching this trial who've never been to that part of Minneapolis, what do you want them to know about your community?
Oh, wow. This is a very vibrant, a very ethnically diverse community. It's a very welcoming community, LGBTQIA plus community members. I do want to just give a shout out to my trans brothers and sisters who are very much represented in this community, as today is Transgender Day of Visibility. But it's a vibrant community. It's historically African American community, and we are working to bring that that Black joy, that business, economic development, home ownership, all of these things back to this community in ways that really begin to address some of the inequities that are present here in Minneapolis and all throughout the country.
And as you were talking, we were seeing some images there of the corner where this all happened. It's now been renamed, as you mentioned, George Floyd Plaza. But there's been some debate because it's been blocked off for quite some time. And now there's some debate about taking down the barriers, opening back up for business. Walk me through that. What's the back and forth there?
Well, you know, it has been barricaded off, and the city, we actually did that when the initial unrest occurred, 38th in Chicago, because of the you know the fact and the reality that George Floyd was killed there. Um, it became this site of reflection, of mourning, of protest. Almost every protest in the city either began at 38th and Chicago or ended there. People, walked from. There was a guy who walked here from Alabama. Um, to the intersection of 38th and Chicago. So we put up barriers to make sure that the hundreds and thousands of people were able to be safe. That, during the unrest, there was, lots of reckless driving going on. We didn't want people to get hurt. We wanted people to have the opportunity to mourn, to gather, to peacefully protest, et cetera, et cetera. And so we blocked off the streets. But then that became more entrenched as time went on. And community residents who are demanding justice in the name of George Floyd began to really take ownership of those barricades, if you will. And now it has created, I think, um, a haven for criminal behavior and activities. People from all around the city, you know, seek sort of refuge in this place from the police. There has been a lot of confrontations with the community and the police, and as you can hear in the testimonies, that relationships between the police and people in this community and all throughout the country, I mean, it's quite evident, is very much fragile right now, and maybe that might be somewhat of an understatement, but there is a very low amount of trust in this community of the police, and so crime has been kind of allowed to manifest more than it has been in the recent past, and the businesses are really struggling to stay afloat. The city is really trying to work on some providing some resources. Where we just passed in committee yesterday a forgivable loan program that will be coming before the council, and we're trying to get some resources out to those businesses to help support them. But reopening and maintaining the memorial that has been erected, and hopefully using that as a prototype so we can build a permanent memorial along with community input and support. We really want to do right by community. We want to bring justice. As I mentioned, we want to bring job training opportunities, jobs, home ownership opportunities, affordable housing opportunities. We need to bring health, mental health resources to this community, et cetera. And so we want to work together with community to make our communities on the path to wholeness.
Well, and we know that one thing this case has done is it brought what triggered what is a national and now global racial reckoning. And maybe one bright spot in this horrible tragedy is that it will bring more attention to your city and to your neighborhood as well to get all those things done that you're
Well, it has already done that. I mean, and like I said, I've been working on this intersection for over 2 decades, and it's really sort of traumatic seeing the world's attention, but also it is an opportunity for us to really move forward. So
well, we certainly hope so.
We have to take it.
Minneapolis City Council Vice President Andrea Jenkins, we know you are very busy, so we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.